Oh, yeah. I am Vinnie Tortorich. Folks, your good intentions have been stolen, but don't worry. I'm here to help you get them back. You may be soft and succulent at the beginning of the process, but hang in there. Before long, you'll be lean and mean. Just like the late great Stevie Ray Vaughan. Yeah.
God, I love him, Gina.
I do too.
Yeah.
I was introduced to him in high school and was in love ever since.
Just the absolute best. Died way too young. He's in the 27 club. I don't know if you.
Yeah. Plane crash, right?
No, helicopter crash.
Or helicopter, yeah.
Yeah, he was on stage with people like Lohan and a bunch of people the night before, and there was one more seat, the old one more seat on the helicopter.
Yeah, Richie Valens.
He wanted to get back to his wife. I think Richie Valens is in a 27 club.
No, younger. He was like a kid.
Yeah, well, he died with the Big Bopper.
Yeah, but he was like, I want to say he was like 19 or something.
Was he that young?
Let me see. Can you believe it? Hold on.
And the Big Bopper only had the one hit, Chantilly Lace.
Richie Valens was 17.
Wow.
When he died.
He was 10 years before the 27 club.
Oh my God. Insane.
Just really, really sad. The guy, he had gotten off of all drugs. He was clean. He was, his life was moving in the right direction. And
well, it's like Sam Kinison. You're telling me he didn't die of like alcoholism? Nope. Car crash.
By a drunk driver.
Oh, God, the irony.
And by the way, as you go into Vegas now, I don't know if you notice this, but when you drive in on the 15 into Vegas, when you start getting close, you'll see there's now a big cement barrier in between that highway. That was after Sam Kinison. That wasn't
you serious?
Yeah, the guy jumped the median, and because people leave there drunk,
yes,
tired, and everything else, and they were constantly jumping that median and having head-on collisions, and that's how Kinison died.
Oof, incredible. Well, on a completely different note, I thought of you so hardcore on Saturday that every part of you must have been on fire. Because long story short, my stepson, because of his basketball league, was able to play on the court, the Lakers court at Crypto.com Arena, aka Staples Center. And as we were leaving, I saw this car and I said, "Excuse me, you guys go ahead. I need to take a picture of something real quick, something in the wild that Vinnie will appreciate." So I just sent it to you. What does that license plate say?
Lagniappe, and it's got a big fleur de lis on it.
I finally saw lagniappe in the wild.
It's not spelled. You can't fit lagniappe.
Yeah.
On a license plate. But yeah, there you go. You got yourself a New Orleans fan, and he's driving a car. You know what they say about Range Rovers?
What?
If you want to get out there, take a Range Rover. If you want to get back, take a Land Cruiser.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, that's great. Well, I would have, if had it not been for you, I would have stared at that thing like a dog being shown a card trick. But I was like, "Oh, look up," and I had to get that for you.
I love that. And I love that he's got the fleur de lis.
Yeah.
And,
so I think we all know where you're from, dude.
On my I call it my nice shotgun, but I have a lot of nice shotguns. It's the one I purposely built for skeet.
Okay.
And one, I had to have, the wood only fits my face. So when I throw it up, when it hits that bone right there, it only fits my face.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Look, people always say to me, which shotgun, I want to get into skeet or sporting clays. What's the best shotgun? It's like, shotguns are all just big, smooth bore barrels that shoot out shot. That's all it does.
Okay.
Don't spend the money on the brand. Spend the money, even if you have like a semi-automatic, those are way less expensive. You want to start with that, or a pump shotgun, or whatever you want to start with, that's fine. Spend the money on getting that thing to fit you.
Wow. I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh no, it's a big thing. There's two ways you could do it. You could buy pieces and parts and get cutouts made on your stock and have them lifted and do all that kind of stuff. And over the years, that's what I did. But when I got this one shotgun, I wanted to make it, just bespoke, right? Just for me. So I bought this big chunk of wood that's really marbled up, and the whole thing, all this kind of stuff. And one thing led to another. And I took the shotgun and went to the best guy in the country, Rich Cole, down at Cole's Gunsmithing in Florida. And Rich worked with me for a whole day. And, we took like what he calls a try gun, a gun that you try. And we put mold on, we molded it with this plastic that hardens up and the whole thing on this old wooden stock. And we figured out exactly everything.
Oh my God.
And it changed the way once you do that, it changes the way you shoot.
That's incredible.
But at any rate, after you go through all this, then you have to get it fitted. And then before they finish the wood, he sent it back to me. I put a couple of thousand rounds through it to make sure I liked it, and then sent it back with notes, and he made a few corrections, and then sent it back to me again, and I put another 1,000 rounds through it. I didn't have to put more than that. I knew it was perfect. And we did that.
How long did this take from beginning to end?
6-8 months.
Wow.
Like that. This is not a quick process. And, when you have other guns to shoot, it's like, you don't have to rush the process.
Right.
So this went on for a long time. And then after that, then they finished the piece of wood. He puts a finish on it. And then after he finishes it, he sends it to a guy who does checkering.
What's that?
Checkering is on a gun. Here, I'm going to send you a picture of the piece of wood before I started doing anything to it.
Okay. I didn't even know this was a thing before 2 minutes ago.
Yeah. All right. Here's the chunk of wood I'm sending to you right now.
Okay. Eagerly awaiting.
So you're seeing one side of the chunk of wood I started with.
Well, I'm seeing nothing. Oh, here we go. Got it.
So, here is me and Rich Cole. I'm going to send, this is me and Rich Cole. Yeah.
I'm showing the audience.
All right. Here are the two of us down in Florida, midwinter, because I have a beard.
Yeah. Oh, we love bearded Vinnie.
This is the tri gun that you'll see that, you can see the stock has got like, it is shifted up and the whole thing. And that's the famous Rich Cole.
Look at Jeremiah Johnson over here, everybody.
That's
wow.
That's me and Rich pulling it together.
Amazing.
And I'll see if I can find a finished product for you at some point.
That's impressive. So I didn't know that was a thing. And let me ask you in terms of, well, I know you've had shoulder issues and shoulder surgeries, but in terms of muscles that you use, or after, say, a day of clay shooting or whatever, do you have a soreness anywhere specific, like shoulder, neck, back, arm?
No, I'll go out and shoot 200 rounds, no problem.
Okay, so that's not a thing.
I just sent you the finished gun.
Holy moly, that's good looking.
I want you to zoom in.
Okay.
You see all that little checkering, like the knurled up part?
Yep.
Okay, a guy sat there, and they tell me all of these guys are alcoholics, because if they mess up this, if they make one line out of place, they do this by hand with files. And they have to go in one direction, and then they have to go in the other direction. And you'll notice I have some little flowers going on one side, like a little pattern going on.
Yep.
But look at the other side. Look at the side closer to.
Oh my God. Look at that. Beautiful.
Fleur de lis.
Beautiful.
And on the front end, I have a couple of fleur de lis too.
Boy, I hope these guys don't have OCD, because like you said,
if they can't make one wrong move, because Gina, they have to cut with a little file into a piece of wood that's now cost someone $1 gazillion, right? Because look at that piece of wood. It looks like a Stradivarius.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
And then it had to be, worked on by Rich, for months and months and months, and shipped back and forth and all this kind of stuff. Oh, I'm sorry. I left the whole part out. At one point, when I decided on the wood, I had to ship the wood to Italy.
What? Why?
I left that part out because I had to ship it to the Beretta factory so that Beretta could do the inletting so that the gun can fit onto their metal part perfectly. You know, it's like a jigsaw puzzle.
Vinny,
And you got to send that part to Italy.
Vincenzo,
Yeah,
it's too insane.
it is incredibly insane. And then you get that back from them. And then it goes to Rich, and Rich does the original from all the work we did at the range, getting it perfect.
So give yourself a year, people.
Yeah, it might have been a year.
Oh my
Like
God, it is gorgeous.
When you get into one of these projects, you don't look around. It's kind of like when I was building the kayak.
Yep, I was just thinking that.
You don't say, hey, when is this going to be done in life? If you're waiting for stuff to be fast, like you're so used to calling, when you want the food at your house, what do you call
Grubhub
you call it Grubhub and everything shows up right away and you get used to that. Or you call Amazon and it shows up the next day. And look, I talked about it last week in the show. I don't even go out and buy shirts anymore.
Yeah.
Just go on to Wrangler.com and say, send me the originals. Right? We do that. But things in life that are worth doing right, and this is part of your health, right? I didn't know Gina was going to send me a fleur de lis. It's got me off on a tangent here. But your health is exactly the same way. There was no way to go say, you can't throw money at Rich Roll and go, I want this done in a week or a month.
Yeah.
He would tell you to, kiss his ass goodbye.
Yeah, he can't bend space and time. This is what it takes.
Well, start with, go tell an Italian you want this in a month. Go tell those idiots in Italy you want this in a month. You ever dealt with them? You ever deal with the WAP? Yeah, don't even think about it. Are they
on their own time frame?
Oh, they're on beyond their own time frame. I had an Alfa Romeo one time. And I've always said, if it breaks in August, good luck. Because Italy takes August and most of September off. How to get a part for an Alfa Romeo? My windshield wipers went out in Louisiana in August. This is hurricane season, folks. I had the time when I left the house in my car because it rains every day at 2:00.
I'm almost jealous. I would be infuriated if I were the customer, but if I were the one in charge going, see you in 6 weeks, that's got to feel pretty good.
You go to Italy. Listen, I was there climbing. I was in Mont Blanc climbing a couple of years ago. I need to go back. I'm due to go back. It's too long. And I'm in Chamonix. Now you go, ooh, Chamonix. Wow. The Savoie region of France. And I'm enjoying myself, but God forbid you could try to get a good cup of coffee in Chamonix.
What?
The French know nothing about coffee. The fact that we have something we call French roast, we should be ashamed of ourselves.
No idea.
The French, you go in for a cup of coffee, you're going to get something near truck stop coffee. Or you'll walk into a breakfast and I want coffee. It's like, would you like wine? No, it's breakfast.
I thought that's what you're supposed to do in France. You're supposed to sit at a cafe and drink coffee and smoke a cigarette.
That's Paris. You're thinking of Paris.
Okay.
Look, this is a place that thinks it's okay to take, what's his name? Polanski.
Yeah, Roman Polanski.
Yeah, they're protecting him. You think they got a good cup of coffee? They know something.
I never made that connection. You're right.
They know something about brioche, I'm sure, but I don't eat that.
Right. What do you know from croissant?
Yeah, I know how to say croissant because I have a sister-in-law that lives there.
Although I will say, because, I'm on every Facebook group of anything that's ever interested me, I'm on a Paris one. And more than once, I've seen people say, if you're going out for a nice meal and you're from America, do not get beef. They don't know how to do it. Stick with fowl, stick with whatever. Beef, you'll be very disappointed.
The French know something about cooking. I'm not going to take that away from them. And yes, they know what to do with a duck.
Right.
They really know what to do with the duck. Look, I grew up in Louisiana with the French. They know how to take waterfowl and make it taste good. But so I was there for like a week. couldn't get myself there was a couple from England that started a little coffee shop, but you had to go there when they decided to open up.
This is I'm doing life wrong. That's what I need to be doing.
It was, I started yelling at Connington, I'm thinking about starting a smoking habit because my caffeine habit is not, I need a different habit.
Oh my God. I had no idea.
Hang on.
I love it. I did hear it. Yeah.
It's at Connington. I got to.
It's the billionaire Don Connington's Friday 5 o'clock. Have a good weekend.
I can't believe a radio guy actually made that for him.
That is some really good imaging, by the way. As someone who's been doing imaging for 30 years and is the female imaging voice of KFI, that is really good imaging.
Yeah, well, the best people in the business, they're going to do stuff for him because he brings Gaga by, and
oh yeah,
sure. What's the other little young one that everyone loves?
Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish, yeah, he has
my
all those artists.
Incredible.
Yeah. So
well,
all right. So I'm in France, right? So we decided to go over, me and a friend of mine.
Yeah, who shall remain nameless.
We decided to go over to Italy for a day or 2 days and go climb Gran Paradiso, right? We're going there for a warm-up climb, and we're going with the group and the whole thing. And we cross over the border. Now, here's how great it is. When you cross the border going from Chamonix, you literally go in a tunnel under a piece of, Mont Blanc.
Oh, wow.
Tunnel. And halfway under that tunnel, you're now in Italy. But we crossed at noontime, and we crossed at noontime on purpose because the Italians take a 2-hour lunch and then a siesta. So
oh my God.
They just leave the booth and people just cross back and forth both ways.
Are you serious?
Making that up, Gina. I wish I was that good.
Well, this makes me curious because when I was in Greece for almost 3 months in college, there was, siesta every day. Your big meal was in the afternoon. Then you sleep for a couple hours. Then you get back up, work. You have a tiny little dinner. And then I don't care if you're 100 years old or 5 years old, you're out in the plaza until midnight, 1 a.m. And their coffee was so strong, you could virtually stand it up with a spoon. Is that what you prefer? Because that was too strong for me. I love
good coffee. Now, I want my espresso to be like that because that's espresso. You want it to be. So we cross right over and we're in this valley and it's beautiful and it's green and it's lush and it's cattle on both sides and the whole thing. We went through this little township where the Giro d'Italia just went through and they still had all the writing on the everything. And it was just great. And we're out in the middle of nowhere and we see this this little house and it's building and it's like a lunch stop or something. Yeah, we're gonna stop here for lunch. So we go in and they have things like lardo.
Oh,
which is exactly what you think it is.
Yeah, it's a perfect name.
Big chunk of fat. Big fat. And we got sandwiches and all that kind of stuff. And that was the old grandmother. She kind of reminded me of my great grandma. She had the babushka on.
Sure.
The whole deal.
The old Nona.
Exactly. And I said, hey, listen, you got some cafes, coffee? She taps me on the shoulder and she just walks away. And I went, Coddington goes, I don't think she understood. And I said, well, shit, I can speak some broken stuff. Maybe I should go talk to her. She just disappeared. She came back with a double espresso like I've never seen. I drank that thing. And then I looked at her and I said, can I have more? She didn't even go back. She just brought me a second one.
Oh my God.
She was ahead of me. She was like my grandmother. She knew.
They're good need anticipators.
Yeah. Yeah. And I left this part. And the second one, she brought the espresso out and she's stirring it in the low demi-tasse. She did with my grandmother. She put sugar in it. Folks, I don't eat sugar, but I wasn't turning this.
No.
It was like my grandmother. I haven't had a sugar espresso since I was a little kid.
Did you feel wired from
Oh,
the extra boost.
I said, you know what? We can climb Grand Paradiso this afternoon. We don't have to wait until the morning. I don't need to acclimate. Let's just go.
And Vinny, you did the right thing, as you always do in these situations, because if you were to say, "Oh no, how do I explain this to you? No sucra, sorry, American," she would have thought you were such a gigantic asshole.
No, she saw who I was.
Yeah,
You know, dark hair, green
One-
eyes. She went, okay, she's
one of hers. Yeah,
he's from this area. And,
that is so funny.
and she just brought me the first one, and then she brought me a second that had the sugar in it.
Oh God, how much? That's a lot of caffeine. 2 double espressos.
Last night,
Oh Jesus, I'm scared.
I had I sat in that chair right over there. You know how my room is.
Oh, I do.
Sat in that chair and watched a great documentary, and had 3. And then
And you've been up ever since?
I brushed my teeth, went right to bed. Ian Bonzo.
Incredible.
Yeah.
You know, why didn't God love the Jews? And don't you know something great's going to happen to be said after that? But what? I mean, caffeine, I'd be up for 48 hours with a panic attack. Dairy, don't get me started. Why can't we just enjoy things? Gluten allergies up the yin yang.
Your people just aren't meant to enjoy.
You know what? I think you're right. I
mean,
think
you guys
suffering.
did that thing where you beat yourself, right? What's that thing called?
That's not us.
That's not you.
No.
No,
but emotionally, we do.
yeah, you beat yourself.
It's called Yom Kippur.
Oh yeah, you got. Well, that's when you guys wash all the sins off in the river, right?
Right. And starve. Yeah, starve yourself for 24 hours.
Yeah, I've done Yom Kippur. I've had Jewish girlfriends, and it's an interesting time. No brushing of the teeth, no
Nothing.
this, no that, no nothing.
You sit in a tone.
And I'm looking at some. Whenever I've been in temple for Yom Kippur, I'm looking around. It's like you're atoning for all your sins. You get a fresh start. And I'm looking at some of the lawyers in there and going, I bet you're already building up shit for next year. You're thinking about billable hours right now.
That's exactly right. It's yes, please God, let me be inscribed in the book of life for next year. And I got to say, I don't think there's a donation to the shul big enough for some of those guys.
You guys don't beat yourself.
No, that's flagellation, not to be confused with flatulation.
Yeah, I thought you guys
Flagellation. It's not us. It's I think that's like medieval.
maybe the Lithuanians.
Maybe.
Who's beating themselves?
I think, you were just in the wrong testament.
Uh,
That's your people, not ours.
Oh, you see.
That's John 19:1, Mark 15:15, and Matthew 27:26.
Yeah, by the time I came around, the nuns did it for us.
Yeah.
We didn't have to beat ourselves.
Yeah, that's the Gospels. We don't know from that.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Speaking of self-flagellation, I have a couple of things I'd like to run by you that seem like torture and may or may not work. And I would love to get your opinion if you're in the mood.
I'm always in the mood.
Great. Well, there are these fakakta. Now look what you've done. Now I can't stop with the Yiddish, but there are these fakakta TikTok diets that are always on. And every once in a while, somebody will do like a little mini roundup. And I want to get your opinion. They also this time consulted a nutritionist who I think will be probably in lockstep with your thoughts. But these are 3 I have never heard of. I'm going to save the best one for last. These are, I'm only going to assume that you're going to think are completely idiotic hacks. You know, when we always used to say, Dr. Drew used to say there's no free lunches in nature. This is one of those, I can biohack that, bro. Check this out. So I have 3 for you. I'm saving the best for last. The first one I've never heard of. This is lettuce water. So it's a TikTok trend that claims steeping lettuce in hot water and drinking it helps with digestion and sleep. The nutritionist says there are no studies in humans that show that lettuce water can help you sleep. Stick with a warm bath 1 to 2 hours before. And there's, yes, lettuce and roughage can be good for your digestion, but steeping it in water without the fiber will do you no good.
Lettuce in general is devoid of any, you might get a little vitamin K here and there. Lettuce is devoid of anything. Lettuce is nothing but a leaf you eat. You put other stuff on it. It's a
A vehicle.
it's a vehicle. Yeah, it just conveys food right into your mouth because it's hard to get oil on the fork. So that's all that is. So no, yeah, I agree with whoever the nutritionist was.
Well, and my first thought was, and I know we've talked about this before, but juicing. You got to juice. You'll lose all the weight. You'll feel great. You'll never feel better in your life. And when I was gifted a very expensive Breville juicer back in the olden days, and I started juicing because I was told to, I was so sick because growing up, and I know this word gets thrown around a lot these days, but trust me, and as Jews, my family, my father and I were hypoglycemic before anyone knew what hypoglycemic was. So they said, don't eat, just juice. And I was drinking these giant things of juice and I was so sick. And then I was like, wait, what's all the stuff that I'm supposed to discard? That comes out the other end, you're supposed to throw in the trash. The pulp, the fiber,
Right.
That's what we're getting rid of? Why are we doing this?
Well, all that fiber is not good for us either. When people, I need fiber, it's like there's no recommended daily allowance of fiber. That's just all created by the same people who are telling you to eat that crap. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. And I'm not going to harp on the vegans here, but here goes. A lot of people will tell me, because I talk to people every day on the consults, and they're always wondering if NSNG or keto or low carb is just another fad like veganism. And I'll say, well, did you try veganism? So yeah, and they all tell me the same story. Man, when I started veganism, my friend told me to do a juice cleanse. I hate the word cleanse. I don't know what you're cleansing.
Vinnie, you're cleansing toxins, toxins.
Yeah. No one can ever explain to me what these toxins are. I could go
And
on
isn't that what our liver is for?
Yeah, liver does that very, very well for us. But you got to understand, liver. Remind me liver. I'm not going to write it down.
All right, I will.
All right. So, it's like every one of these people tell me, yeah, I did this juice thing for like a week or 7 days or 10 days or whatever. I never felt better in my life. All of a sudden, I was sleeping better. I was clear. Everything got better. I was just wonderful. It was all wonderful. And then I started, down the second part of it, eating nothing but vegetables and the whole thing. I added in rice and then, quinoa and this and that and the whole thing. And they'll say within a month or so, all of a sudden I wasn't feeling so well anymore. So what did you do? Well, my friend that got me into it told me I wasn't doing it enough. I had to get more vitamins from more nutrients. So they suggested I eat more vegetables and more of this, more of that. And then I started getting stomach distress and this and that.
Oh, yeah.
On and on and on, because your body can only handle. We only have one stomach, folks. We're not a ruminant. We can't keep regurgitating food. And, our stomach is one-stop shop.
Yeah, we're not cows.
Yeah, we're not cows. We're not deer. We can't just eat vegetation all day long. And then, I was getting tired at work. I was falling asleep at 3:00 in the afternoon. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that, I would just have to close the door and put my head down on the desk and hope no one knocked on the door. Right? Like when you're that tired at 3 PM and you don't think there's a problem. So the reason they felt good for 2 weeks in general is because most people go on to a vegan diet because they were eating such a junk food diet, and just getting that junk out of your life and cleaning that up. You start feeling your body starts working right until it's not working right anymore. Because
just to put a finer point on it, you're not eating meat, which means you're not eating Burger King, you're not eating Chick-fil-A, you're not eating chips, you're not eating all the processed stuff that comes with whatever you were eating.
Right. And so that, that's what causes that to happen. Right. I remember, I'm going to talk about the liver now a little bit.
Yeah.
Around 93, 94, I'd already become really popular as a celebrity trainer by then, about 93, 94. that's when I was knocking the doors. And so every celebrity, they're always hearing from their celebrity friends, you know, you got to try this, you got to try that.
Right.
And one of the things they were doing, and I can't remember this diet very well and what you had to do. I want to say there was a lot of grapefruit juice involved
I buy it.
and olive oil with the grapefruit juice and something else. And it was the liver cleanse diet. And these people were claiming that they was, you know, they would tell you, look, you have to stay in your house for the next 12 to 15 hours because when you drink this stuff, at first you're going to crap your brains out. And then after you start crapping, they'll say towards the end, you know, mostly water will be coming out because you're drinking this all the time.
Oh God.
And then these big, like green eggs will come out. And apparently this was all, this was calcium deposits that was lodged in your liver. And now they're being released. And these people are claiming, oh yeah, I saw. And I started telling people, all right, when you do this, I want to come over and look in your toilet and see these stones in the toilet. No one could ever produce these stones for me. But oh yeah, no, they were there. Why didn't you take a picture? No one had a cell phone back then, but take a picture, do something. No, they were there. And then my friend did it. No one could ever produce these stones for, but they were claiming that all of these stones, and then once they did that, they never got a cold that winter. Nothing happened. Everything is perfect. I'm telling you, it was called the liver cleanse. And I want to say you took Epsom salts too.
Oh God.
Do not try what I'm telling you.
This sounds awful.
I'm shocked people didn't die from this.
Oh my God.
It was a big thing back in like I said, I was already pretty well known. So it had to be around 93, 94.
If that really did happen to them, because I Googled green stones liver, they might have had gallstones. They have bigger problems than their liver.
I don't know what they were talking about, but they were passing something. And
gross.
But
they weren't.
But they weren't, because no one can ever show me this. It's like, no, you know, I pulled one out of the toilet and I felt it. It's like you reached in the toilet and grabbed. No, I'm not buying. So, yeah, people, I know we're still stuck on diet number one with you, but yeah, people do all this weird stuff.
Oh, it's true. And it gets weirder. I'll you know, you're Italian. We've talked about that. You like your coffee. We all know you like lemons, you know, a fresh spritz on any. Well, Vinnie, why the hell aren't you putting lemon in your coffee? Two great tastes together for the first time.
No.
Smoky and bitter and sour. This is a trend. People are squeezing lemon into their coffee for weight loss. Weight loss.
What's it doing?
It's supposed to really just amp up your detoxing and really amp up your metabolism. It supports weight loss is all it says. The nutritionist does not see any scientific evidence that this will result in specific weight loss. What about you?
Yeah, there's nothing, you know, look, people put a little salt in their coffee because coffee is already an acid.
And acidic, yeah.
It's acidic. So whenever you put a little salt in, and people that want it to be more chocolatey tasting versus, you know, hard tasting, they'll put like a pinch of, not a lot. Some people actually put it in the drip top before the beans are actually done. Or some people just put a little pinch in each cup. But to add an acid to an acid, come on.
And that's why you're actually in this case smarter than the nutritionist, because that never came up. How acidic coffee already is and how obviously acidic lemon juice is. And can you imagine trying to choke that down?
No, look, the only time you want lemon anywhere near coffee is if you do a proper espresso and you take
the rind
and you just hold it over it by 4 inches and squeeze a little essence of it, and you can just drop the rind in there. That's a proper espresso. Or like my babushka mom did over in Italy. She stirred in a couple of spoons. It tasted like she shoveled about a half a spoon of sugar. You ever see The Freshman with Marlon Brando?
Oh, yeah. And Matthew Broderick?
You remember that scene? He has the espresso and he's just dumping sugar in and stirring it in. It's like that. There's a thing Italians do. You know what? The Greeks will do it, and people in Eastern Europe, You know, the people that do the coffee where you boil the coffee.
Yeah.
What's it
Like
called?
Turkish coffee?
Turkish coffee. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Turkish, you know, I'm a coffee freak, folks. So Turkish coffee grinds are finer than espresso grinds. If you try to make espresso with Turkish grinds, it's so fine that it'll clog up your espresso machine. Because when you hit it with 9-10 bars of pressure, it'll just lock it up. So these are finer than that. But with these Turkish, they have these little Turkish pots where you put the coffee in, you boil it, and then you put it in a demitasse. And those are the ones that read your coffee. You know,
the tea leaves.
Yeah. They'll read your coffee, the old women. Well, they do that too. They will put like a whole teaspoon in a demitasse of sugar. It's almost like a coffee syrup.
Interesting.
They do it while it's still really hot. So it mixes all the grinds in with the sugar, and you're literally drinking a hot coffee syrup.
Wow.
And some Italians do that with the espresso.
Boy.
Look at Marlon Brando. He had a share of those. So you don't want to do that. It's not healthy for you in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, I've had one of those because I've had coffee every which way. And
of course you have.
It is something to behold. And you know what else they give you with that? You know what the Turkish folks do?
What?
You know that little gel square?
The little like marzipan or whatever.
It's just a little gel.
It's jelly.
It's like a jelly, and
yes,
it's usually citrusy. You're supposed to do that. So it's like sugar, and then here's some sugar to go with it.
God love them.
Oh God, those people.
And if it's anything like the Greeks, when I was there, you always have to have a big pack of Marlboro Red Chasers.
Well, yeah, that's just, that goes unsaid.
Yeah, I just didn't need to say that. All right, this is the final one. This is my favorite one. Vinnie, if there was ever something that you disagreed with that didn't involve meat, I'm going to put my money on it's this. So TikTokers are saying that my favorite fruit, which I know has a lot of sugar in it, but for whatever reason, and the texture, my favorite fruit, watermelon, is horrible for you. It's the worst thing you could do. Don't eat watermelon. Instead, there's a hack, a great diet hack that get rid of that watermelon and instead cut up pieces of cucumber, sprinkle an empty plate with stevia and sweetener, and just dab the cucumber bite in it with the sweetener, and it'll taste just like watermelon instead of that nasty old watermelon.
I talked about this in my video. We talked about it last week on the show. I have a video on fake sweeteners, and I talk about stevia. Folks, do you realize you cannot actually get stevia in the United States? What we're selling as stevia is not stevia. True green leaf stevia is not, the FDA does not allow it.
Then why are they allowed to call it stevia?
Because they mix a bastardized version of stevia with the Nutra whatever sweetener, and that's what we call stevia. We don't have, oh no, Vin, you don't understand. I went to Whole Foods and I got the extract. No, it's still bullshit. You're not getting real stevia, number one. Number two, it's a fake sweetener. Number three, it's a stomachache waiting to happen. Don't even do it. Gina, you won't recall this, but you and I were on stage one night whenever we were doing that.
That was so much fun.
And I talked about, and Gary was able to pull it up pretty fast. I talked about a girl named Leslie Carday. And Leslie Carday, I was dating the 6 and 10 o'clock news anchor at WQ down in New Orleans. And Leslie Carday was the health and science reporter back then. This is 1985-ish. And Leslie did a report. And this is back in the days before any kind of social media or anything. She did a report, the 5 worst diets. She said she started her 5-minute report. That's a long time for a news story.
Oh, yeah.
She started her 5-minute report saying, none of these diets will work. These are the 5 worst diets I can come up with that I found by doing a search. And by the way, there was no Google to search on. That did not exist. Right? So this woman had to go do research for this piece. I cannot remember all 5, but the 3 that I will never forget. One was called the chocolate diet. And the whole deal is you just eat chocolate every day and nothing else, and you'll lose weight.
Right.
The next one was called the sludge diet.
Oh.
Hang on, Jen. It's not as bad as you thought.
Okay.
You've probably done it when you've had breakups with boyfriends.
Uh-oh.
You eat tons of ice cream, peanut butter, and chocolate, and it creates a sludge in your system, and it draws out all the fat from your intestines, and you poop it all out.
You don't say. Be right back.
Hang on, Gina. That's the way you girls did it, right? Whenever you broke up with a guy,
Oh, yeah.
you lost weight.
We every time. That's what you do. You hole up in your house with a blanket over you. You watch TV, you cry, and you eat ice cream. And then I come out looking like a supermodel.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, with a tan.
Yeah.
With no tan lines.
No tan lines.
Yeah. So that was the second one, the sludge diet. And then my favorite, I wish I could remember all five. My favorite was the prayer diet, where you can pray the fat away.
Oh, you can?
Yeah. Now, on Friday nights after the 10 o'clock newscast, we would all go out and, because it was down in the French Quarter, that's what DSU was. I would meet Lynn at the station. I'd get there right at 10:35, and me and the weatherman and Lynn and a few other, we would go down the street, and I didn't drink back then. They would have a drink, and I would sit there and we'd have a good time. And Leslie was there this particular night, and she had done this story like on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all talking about how the station was inundated on Thursday and Friday of phone calls where people wanted to know more about these diets. Leslie said 2 or 3 times in the news story, under no circumstances are these diets healthy or sanctioned by anyone or anything else. Do not do this. This can harm your health. People didn't care. They wanted to try these different diets and wanted to know where they could get more information.
On the chocolate diet.
The sludge diet and the prayer diet.
Oh, the sludge diet sounds awesome. You're right. I spoke too soon.
Yeah, it sounds bad.
Yeah, but when you really tell me what's what, I've done that multiple times.
It's kind of like a vagina. You know that one, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. It's an acquired. Yeah.
Looks bad, feels good. Yeah.
How dare you? I was about to say something.
Gina just fell off her chair, folks. That's why you can't hear her. The woman just literally fell off her chair. We can't hear you, Gina. Whenever you laugh, you go away.
Like solid borscht felt humor that I did not expect, that I loved. So I'm crying.
Why is it when you start
So
laughing,
good.
your mic goes out? Do you have like a squeal filter on it or something?
I mean, if we're peeking behind the curtain, the music you play is very hard to hear. So if there's a secondary noise, I think the mic's cut. They're doing their job so you don't ping. And my cackle will rupture eardrums.
Yeah, she literally, I never saw Gina fall off of her chair before, but there you go.
Okay, so you are not recommending the sludge diet, the chocolate diet, or the prayer diet, which I am very interested in.
Or I'm recommending the tastes like watermelon diet almost, or what was the other two?
Lemon coffee and lettuce water. Wouldn't lemon coffee, like you said, be so acidic you'd burn a hole in your stomach?
I'm offended as an Italian.
You should be.
And as a coffee maker.
You should be. But can you just settle my nerves? Because you've done it before and I want you to do it again because it is my favorite, especially in the summer. I know that watermelon is full of sugar. I understand that. In fact, I even told you there was not Coco, but one of these other gorillas they taught sign language to. And she would call watermelon sweet candy water. And that's how she'd ask for it. So and onions were hurt cry food, which I also agree with. So I understand that it tastes like sweet candy water, but you don't really have that much hatred for the watermelon, right?
I don't, even though it's considered a high glycemic food. Pay attention, folks. Melon is suspended in fiber, and there's mostly water. There's a lot of water.
It's in the name.
Yeah, it's right in the name. And so the sugar is well diluted. Now, I'm not giving you carte blanche to go eat a half a watermelon.
The watermelon diet.
Right. But if you're somewhere and it's hot as hell and you just ran 5 miles and someone's got a cold piece of melon, knock yourself silly. Knock yourself silly. That's not your problem. No one got fat from eating a slice of watermelon. And that's the one thing that's still kind of seasonal.
Yeah. Exactly.
When I was a kid, there was a Mackinac peach season.
Oh, that's a great Seinfeld episode.
There was Granny
Ra-
Smith
Yeah.
apple season.
There's rainier cherry season.
Yep, there was a season for that. You want me to give you two more?
Yeah.
There was a Vidalia onion season.
Oh.
Vidalias, they came out of Georgia or somewhere. And there was a Florida navel orange season. This was not year round, folks.
Oranges?
Oranges.
Wow.
Yeah. When I was a kid, there was a season for things.
Wow.
Watermelon came around for like a month, just like everything else.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the one thing. Yeah, you could get them more year round and the whole thing, but the stuff coming out of play and all these places, don't, please. Yeah.
Have your slice of watermelon at a barbecue on a hot summer day and enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I was a kid in the wintertime. The way I got date money, I go in the field after I went hunting all morning and pick shallots, and you would have to wash them, get them all. I'd pick 2 or 3 bushels, wash them, group them up, with rubber bands, and then go around to the local grocery stores and sell them shallots.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Get
What
enough
a young,
money,
enterprising man.
go out, make $20, go out and have a date that night.
Amazing.
$20, that's gas money, that's movie and something to eat.
Wow.
1978. And that's change in your pocket after that.
Oh yeah, you got some wham, some walking around money.
You damn right, $2-3.
That's great.
It cost $1.75 to get to Baton Rouge and back on gas. And I had a car, I had a 351 Cleveland in my convertible. That thing chewed gas probably 8 miles to the gallon. That's the way we did it.
Kill me sometimes.
I still have that car.
Of course you do. So in general, yes, we can sort of tier these by best to worst, but if we're just dividing between biohack your body, bro, and just eat something natural that came from the earth, Vinnie will throw his weight behind something natural, whole food that came from the earth, I think 100% of the time.
Yeah, I got nothing against it. I'm not one of those idiots that think vegetables are killing us.
No.
That's all we're hearing now. Vegetables are killing you.
Vinnie just calls it meat jewelry.
Yeah. Look, I'm all behind the carnivore movement, right? Get more people eating more meat. But the problem with the carnivore movement is they're telling you, just eat meat, bro. You don't need anything else, which they've proven. My friend, Sean Baker was on my show before I brought him to my house in Woodland Hills. He was on my show before anywhere else talking about, he was only at 4 months of trying this.
Wow.
Right. And after the show, I was like, Sean, how do you feel? He said, I feel fine. I said, really? Yeah, I feel good. I even tried it for a while. It works. But here's the deal. Carnivore people, don't become like the vegans. Don't do that thing where it's like vegetables are killing you.
Yeah.
There's chemicals in vegetables that are killing you. I just fundamentally, I don't believe it. And no one can show me science to show that's true. And all of these guys, all of these doctors who are trying to make a name for themselves, lectins, oh, this, oh, that. Oh, piece of broccoli ain't going to kill you.
And just like everything in this world, just because you think something's good doesn't make everything else bad.
Right. So don't be a vegan, don't be a carnivore, but fall in between.
Be Vinnie. Vinnie's the one that will accept a sugary, espresso from an old lady because he would be the world's biggest tool.
He would have smacked me.
I don't have that. Yeah. Just exactly. Know your exceptions, people.
Listen, don't be like Vinnie. You don't want to be like me.
I do. Sometimes.
You don't. You remember, you don't remember the show. Do be a doobie, don't be a don't be a.
My dad used to say that all the time. Do be a doobie, don't be a don't be.
Yeah. That was from Romper Room. And one of my early clients in New Orleans was Miss Linda Mintz. And Linda was, when I was a kid, she was my Romper Room lady.
Oh, wow. You must have been starstruck.
She was a great local actress. I mean, she would do, back when she was older, she would do 1 or 2 plays per year. And it would be a musical, and she was just wonderful, just a wonderful actress.
Oh, nice.
And she was like, you want to talk about a Jewish grandmother. She was like my own Jewish grandmother. I spoke to her probably 2 years ago. She called me and just to say hi. and loved Miss Linda. And as a matter of fact, I was a grown man calling her Miss Linda.
You have to.
So I said to her one day after I got to know her really well, I said, Miss Linda, you know, you would always say my brother Michael's name when you look through the magic glass at the end of the show. She goes, yeah. I said, I said, you would always say my brother's name. You would never say my name. And she goes, what was your brother's name? I said, Michael. She goes, yeah, very common name.
Yeah. Every kid's named Michael.
Yeah. She goes, I would just read what was on the list. And if there were 7 Michaels, I would just mention Michael once a day. You're right. And Chris and Brian and David. Yeah. Susie and
these days it would be, hi, Aiden.
Hi, Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I said, so Vinnie? She goes, no, Vinnie never, who names their kid Vinnie? I went,
yeah,
my parents.
Hey, between you and me and my poor stepson, our names were never on those custom novelty license plates at, you know, the amusement park.
Nothing. There was never a Vinnie. And if you ever found a Vinnie written on anything, it was with a Y.
Oh, of course. Oh, yeah. You had no chance.
Oh, man.
What chance did you have?
I don't know how I'm still alive today. I don't know.
It's a real perseverance story. Yeah, that's you.
Yeah. It's
wow. I think we need to leave immediately.
We need to be done.
Yes.
All right. So, folks, Gina Grad does a show. I can't get it. Look, I'm not just saying I listen to it. I tell back on this show.
Yeah.
I've heard in the show. So,
thank you.
You look, I listen. I'm a listener. It's really good. You can learn about stuff. Like the other day, I learned about who killed a couple of rappers like 30 years ago.
That's right. And a couple of rappers, you might have heard of them, Biggie Smalls and Tupac Shakur. That story is not over. 27 years later, there is new information on this. We report about it. We have incredible reporters and journalists. We talk about all things Los Angeles and beyond. So people who used to live here, like Vinnie, people who still live here, people who have no desire to come here and just kind of want to hear it from our perspective, seem to really enjoy it, especially if you're planning a vacation. Listen to the Brian and Gina Show, the official podcast of LA Magazine, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Yeah. And you know what to do with us. Just go to VinnieTortorich.com and do everything. Set up consults. I love hearing from you guys. You know, whatever I have over there. And we will keep the show going. The NSNG newsletter. She wants you to know about that. Before you go to Amazon, go to VinnieTortorich.com, click through the banner. It puts coal on the fire, gets my train down the track. I'm going to play a little more of Stevie. I can never get enough of this guy. He had the best guitar face, solo face of anyone else whenever he would just do solo face. Yeah. The best solo face out there.
Oh my God.
So on behalf of Gina Grad, my name is Vinnie Tortorich. Put life into living and do it with enthusiasm.